Alright, welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Renew, and we're about to finish up with this 25 days of Christmas. We got this energy, gotta cleanse it out, man, because, I ain't really been feeling it. But I've been really enjoying my changes. I've been enjoying my changes. And I think the changes that I've been going through in my mindset, it has really taken a long time to get here. Like it really has. And when I do yoga and stuff, like I feel completely different from what I did before, and I don't know if it's the nature of what I do now versus then, or the fact that I was doing it more often then versus not as often now. But I'm realizing that I really feel the breath grounding new roots. So I'm just super grateful that I can see that difference, and it makes me appreciate certain things, and I be focused on certain things. And I've read in the book Think and Grow Rich that you gotta put yourself in positions to where you kind of gotta go get it. There's no other choice. And I realized that I've been enjoying that position a little bit more than what I have before. And I'm pretty happy about that, so I'm just giving myself kudos, That's what this month is supposed to be about. This wants to show. Exactly. This month is all about us pulling ourselves back together from the things that tore us apart. I like to think of this card here. It's not like the regular Ten of Swords. Again, all cards have their own meaning based upon the intent of the creator. But there is always an overall intent because of the overall creator. So, because of that, we gotta understand that these are needles. And I like to say this 10 of needles represents being a pin cushion, blowing the fall, or being the cushioning people's falls. That's what this card represents. And so there's no fall other than yourself. Oh, we even got the ace at the bottom. Yeah. So we got this new kind of vibe from these old things, and that's us. This is the Six of Needles. Normally the Six of Needles is sailing away. Again, in this card, we're using the cushion for ourselves now. So instead of being the cushion being inserted into based upon other people's thoughts, you're being the needle. And when you be the needle, you can sew things back together. So I think that's a cool little channel message that just wanted to pop up. Let's see if that continues the trend. I felt like that was loud as hell. Alright, let's get started, people. I just want to also say thank y'all for being here, man. Again, the algorithm has been my nemesis for a while, but consistency is my nemesis through the algorithm. I just operate on a different kind of vibe, and because of that, it's hard to be in the traditional manner. So because of that, it's hard to stay consistent because it just hasn't been my focus. But I believe in myself a lot more, so I'm gonna reveal the layers a little bit better and try to be as authentically me as I possibly can. And this is going to be on like the great scale. So I adapt things from my life, man, that I benefit from. So I like to tell people not goodbye, but I like to tell them to be great as my salutation. And I'm trying to expand and layer my greatness a little bit better because just being great is life in general, man. That's just what it is. But everything has layers. Everything has maximums, minimums, and everything has exchange points and dristies, focus points. And then there's a point where it appears to disappear, but it remains. That's what we call a horizon. So, knowing that we can change and shift our perspective, I'm so happy that the people who have been here and those who repeat the videos, man, you'll quickly find out, like, if you rock with me and you stay here with me, like, you either learn to love me more or you just appreciate like me for who I am, unless you're hiding that don't like me. But that don't last long because I call that shit out. um, I say that because those who are repeat watchers, like, you're going to start to like notice certain things because I'm leaving a trail for you. It's like I'm telling a story for us on this pathway while talking to everybody else. I would do this in the classroom and I would talk to many people at once based upon who they was. And I would mix up the conversations that I would have in the tones and the thoughts and the words. I would mix all of that stuff up and I would present it to the class in a way to where enough of those people who I was speaking to in the crowd could connect with their peers and me. I forced them to be moderators just because I was using what they already enjoyed using. And because I was able to use their own tools, it automatically gave them a space to be more graceful. So this is the idea of giving people the benefit of the doubt. What we are doing in December is giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt because we have already doubted ourselves based upon not finding a benefit. A benefit of the experiences of the past, benefit where we didn't have the knowledge to appreciate. So we're going backwards, in other words, and we're trying to understand what is happening in our lives based upon what has already happened in our lives. So what's the energy for day 3? Alright, perfect. We got this energy here, Empress at the bottom. What this is telling us is we're using the light to go within to see. We're going to go and identify certain things that bring us down. It's like we're doing spring cleaning. And I've said that already. And then in the last couple of days, I've been hearing other readers say something similar. The reason, excuse me. The reason is because we have different transits happening compared to when we had different winters or different seasons, let's say. But the season changing doesn't matter when we have different things in the sky. So let's say I'm traveling and it's 1947. There's probably not going to be many airplanes in the sky versus if I'm traveling and it's 2027. The idea is at one point in time, we know there's going to be more technology. At one point in time, we knew there was less. Because we can see the differences, we're able to shine light on it. Let's read this because, again, it's us going inside and trying to find a new light to answer the questions of what should I do with my energy. So let's look at this and let's read it from the book. Remember, reversal cards, that means internal action. So it's feminine energy for me. So here is the meaning. Here, the impulsive enthusiasm of the Knight of Candles leads to frustration and chaos. It's time to rein in your wild side and focus your energy on the journey at hand. You won't make any progress if you don't pay attention to where you're going. So this is exactly the case. That's a beautiful card. This is why it's not about it being negative or positive, bro. Like that's so local. I'm going to say that. It's local to you and your own interactions. You know, that's where it comes down to first and foremost. Other than that, man, you gotta focus on things being what they are. Be the observer. Just look, don't touch kind of thing. And you gotta start to look at how you can touch it with just your eyes. Start to detail and romance and empathize in the same time of creating new forms of intimacy to do all of those things individually and collectively. That is what you're trying to do when you're looking at new aspects of yourself. Again, the new aspects comes from you going in and saying, hey, it's too much of this over here. We need to take that energy and apply it over there. What do you have? Well, it's your duty. How do you want to do it? Let's say you're a person who smokes and you don't want to smoke. You can't just stop smoking. That has an energetic body attached to it. You need to go inside and say, hey, you smoke too much. What can you do to not smoke as much? What action are you going to be taking? What actions are you going to be making? Those are the things that you need to be asking that part of you who wants to smoke. Because it's that ego who is doing the smoking. So if you give the ego the task of telling me what I want to do, you're probably going to be met with the first initial thing is, I want to fucking smoke. But the thing is, you gotta convince yourself that it's okay to have no way. When you have no way, this is what math class called in Algebra 1. This is what Algebra 1 calls a no solution. We're telling you this is false. We always worry about true and false and focus on the truthful side. Identifying things that are blatantly false is more beneficial than looking at truths. With your truth and my truth, we can have disparities, but everybody knows this is false. There's no discrepancies. This is the idea of you going inside, going into your heart space, going into your memory bank, going into your rememory bank, two different places in your mind, and then you gotta take the time to see what you got. Once you see what you got, you can value what you have in a different way. These experiences, these memories, you gotta go put a new point of view upon them. Give it a new script. Same actor. Yes, it might be uncomfortable. But you go down there and you give yourself a shot. Be the director. Exactly. Be the director. What that means is you need to look at things from a point of view of operations. Take the time to operationally go inside and strategically find your happiness. Again, you're not trying to create happiness. So what does that mean? You need to be empty. You need to do it in time frames where you don't feel like anything. You need to do it in time frames where you don't feel like doing anything. You need to feel it at times where you just are depleted, like after a workout, like after a long day of work. Do it at the time where you don't want to do that shit. But that's when you depend on your processes. Like, I just really haven't been wanting to do certain things like go to yoga. Last week, I went to yoga twice. This week, I don't know. I just got way more energy and I'm going to be going more than twice. So the idea is when I just got into the habit, I just got into the discipline, I just got into the routine, then things just feel better because, again, it's routine. It feels good to not have to struggle to breathe. It feels good. But if you struggle to breathe, like if I had asthma or if I just sprinted and I was tired, trying to catch my breath, hands on my knees kind of thing, yeah, guess what? That would suck if that was all the time. So the idea is, how can we manage ourselves, our energetic selves, our energetic times, time to, feel this way, not time to feel that way? How can we reorganize the things in our lives that has already passed? The things that may have caused us stress, the things that we're worried about, the things that we're frustrated about, the things that we want to change then we can't change, the things that we should be changing but we don't want to look at it. How can I give myself a structure and a routine and then be in that discipline? Not just a discipline, something that makes me find my happy. It's already there. How can I give myself the key? Did I lose it? Is it in my pocket and I just didn't know? Is it in my goddamn hand because I didn't look? Where is the happiness? It's probably outside of you somewhere because at the end of the day, you use keys to go from one place to another. So, look outside of you into your routines to see where your happiness lies. And if you don't have any happiness, the goal is to go and make a new routine about a value that you've changed. In other words, you already gave me your first draft for your paper, your paragraph. You will write it in a paragraph. You already gave me your first draft. I told you to go in there and give me more descriptions for all of your primary nouns. So every time you have a major noun about your story, give me an adjective or two and make it more detailed so I can get a better picture. Now you're going to build a routine. Maybe you go through and you highlight all your primary nouns or your subject nouns. And then maybe you go in there and underline all of the current adjectives that you got. Then maybe you go in and you look at the list that we have of adjectives and you just randomly select, 12, and then you apply them. And that'll be your routine from when you were a fourth grader all the way up into college. That's just what you do now. But whatever you're doing is you're valuing the fact that you didn't want to write the paper the first time, but you wrote it anyway, and you have a process to help you appreciate it. And guess what? You loved your second draft way more than your first draft, even if you didn't want to change it. That's the vibe, man. That's the vibe. What else do we got? Exactly. So I feel like this is already really saying what it needs to say. I'm just here, bro. What this shows us is, I'm telling us we're pulling ourselves back together through our new routines. But of these new routines, it's going to give us a new spark to do some of these old things. Like I was saying, relative to my yoga. I'm just going to give my. I've been wanting to have goals and that's the hardest thing about creating goals, especially heart-centered goals. You don't really know what you want because most of the time we're trying to quell our egos. We're trying to like smolder those flames of being egotistical, but that has led you to other spaces. So instead of being hurt, frustrated, fragile, we're coming into a position to where once we heal ourselves because we know the details about ourselves just a little bit more, we're more routine about how we treat people and act in this world and what we do to take care of ourselves. We can walk around with a little youthful spark, that youthful ego, that almost naive, but it's a fresh outlook, the full kind of energy, kind of vibe. That is the energy that we got to look at with this card here. We're looking at taking the new information that we're gaining from going inside and building new routines. And once we got those new routines, we're having confidence and we're having that lust for life. And we're just, happy as hell that you got what you wanted for Christmas. Happy as hell that you got what you want for your birthday. Happy as heck that you get the chance to spend your time, during your holidays with your people. Happy, feeling good. And that is where we're at on this day 3. We're feeling good where we're at, but we're taking the time to put in the work to go see where we're at. Yeah, we're building up a new point of view upon the things that we already got going on. So as we build upon these new points of view, we're going to start to see the changes. And the changes that we're going to see really depends on you. So for instance, I want to tell this story. So many spaces around here. Somebody decides to pull up right next to me, and then pull up on the next side of me even closer. Crazy. So, my thing is, what can I do to make myself not feel any of the ways that I've once felt? Well, I can be assertive. I can change my mind about receiving people like this. I can make the change in the choice, to be a little devious. Why? Because this is what this kind of energy needs in order to maintain this. In other words, you got to know how to protect your spark. You got to know how to protect who you are and what you're doing. In other words, if I get outside and I just smoke and I look dead at them in their window, that might make them uncomfortable like they're making me uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, I'm here to give you guys a reading so you can know how to change and be the hierophant of your life. Know how to change, know how to alchemize in the proper manner. Know how to use the chemistry of your life. Know how to be in the chemi. What's our final message on this day 3? I believe that was the 6 of Pentacles that also wanted to jump. I think it was the 6 of Pentacles or the 9 of Pentacles. Presence, I'm sorry. Ooh. That's my time. Let's see. So with the it was the 9 of Presence. I think it was the 9 of Presence. Nope. It was the 7 of Presents. I think that's even better with this card. So right now we got the 9 of Candles, which to me that is experience card. So it's different levels of experiences, And so, like, if you, let's say you went to Disneyland and you rode all the rides and you had to grade each of the ride, that is going to be the nine of candles, different grades for the different levels of heights. You know, the higher it is, the higher the grade. The lower it is, the lower the grade. In this case, we got the seven of presents at the bottom with the magician. And what this does is the seven of presents, this is you right after you finish wrapping all the presents. The eight of presents is you going and organizing them, putting them to where they need to be, loading up, and sending things away. So the cool thing about this is we already know what has been packaged within us. We already know what's been packaged. And of the things that's already been packaged within us, we can start to see the magic within the packages. So now that card just left. Again, I didn't even have to put on that energy. I just had to continue. And if you notice, it passed me by. All I had to do is just change my mind. And when I changed my mind, the things that were prepackaged within me was able to come out like magic because at the end of the day, I know how to keep my spark. So, if you want to learn how to keep your spark in a more traditional sense, you need some authenticity or some transformation. If you just need a dude to chat with, if you just need some life advice, check us out. We got a ton of coaching services for you, which is going to be revamped for 2025. And if you don't want to talk to nobody, you just need, some new words to think with. Tell Us Self Help is one of the best books that we got for you. And then on Christmas, we can get yourself the next best thing coming, and that is Soul's Respark Adventure, which is going to be a spin and a take upon soul inspiration unlike ever seen before. So, I appreciate you all for being here. Thank y'all for rocking with me, my returning subscribers and viewers. And let's keep on going on this 25 days of Christmas. All right. I love you all. I especially love you too. All right. See you next time. Peace.